Jazz Lovers Television Network. Healing from our trauma, the strength of a woman. Talk show host Carla Prince, Monday, April 4th, 1 p.m. WMCJL-TV, our WMCJL-TV Telegram Network production. O sacred mother of creation, who breathes the life breath of our men, the breath from which our ancestors worship you. Our spirit seeks the warmth of your bosom now. Send down your glory, the glory of 900,000 trillion million angels to shield, guide, heal, strengthen, and protect us into Amenta, paradise, the land of our men. Strengthen us, O mother of creation. Heal us from our trauma. Heal us with the strength of the woman, the mother of creation, woman who guides us, who births us. Birth the new Nigeria. Birth the new Nigeria. Heal us from our trauma, the strength of a woman. Healing from our trauma, the strength of a woman. With special guest, the Honorable Dr. Favour Ayodele of Nigeria, the presidential candidate for 2023 elections in Nigeria. Dr. Favour Ayodele, the right choice for the people of Nigeria, the right choice. Hosted by Dr. Carla Prince, Healing from Our Trauma. Featuring Ayo Handy Kendi, the healing breath of a woman, whose breath strengthens, protects, and heals our people. Queen Mother Ayo Handy Kendi, Healing from Our Trauma. Also featuring Miss Janine St. Louis of St. Louis Creations, displaying and speaking about her powerful healing jewelry and her comedic spirit that is transferred from her healing jewelry that she creates. You can find her at the New Black Wall Street in Stonecrest, Georgia. So join us, the World Media Coalition, Jazz Lovers Television Network, Legacy Builder Television Productions of Healing from Our Trauma with Dr. Carla Prince, featuring the Honorable Favour Ayodele from Nigeria, the Nigerian presidential candidate for 2021, featuring the healing breath of Ayo Handy Kendi, the breath that heals from her bosom, and also the illustrious Janine St. Louis of St. Louis Creations. You can find her in the New Black Wall Street in Stonecrest, Georgia. Healing from Our Trauma, Monday, April 4th, 1 p.m., World Media Coalition Jazz Lovers Television Network.
Peace, peace, greetings, everybody.
Peace.
Welcome to the World Media Jazz Coalition Television Network production of Healing from Our Trauma with Dr. Carla Prince. And Dr. Prince is under the weather today. She's recovering from certain issues. So we wish her well. And I want to welcome our guests. First, I want to introduce our technical people. We have technical director and production supervisor from out of Lugansk Republic, Zulu King Frickson. Lugansk Republic is part of the Ukraine territory where the conflict zone is now. So we've had to switch to Telegram because Zoom and YouTube is not functioning there. Frickson, you want to greet the audience and the guests?
Бро, тебя не слышно.
A little correct, we're not Ukraine anymore from 2014. We're Lugansk People's Republic, independent republic. Mostly we are now moving to the Russian Federation, and about this, the conflict is peace to everybody. And also want to introduce you another man from our native Russian people from Belarus. It's Sergey. Also, he is represent like me, the Universal Zulu Nation, but not in Lugansk People's Republic. He is living in Belarus, but it is also Russian-speak people and our family. So greetings to everybody, and also want to introduce to Sergey the Makakovu Ali Albey. Sergey asked today who is Makakovu. Makakovu is the high priest of the Universal Zulu Nation. I think he will be more good to tell about what he is doing in the Universal Zulu Nation. Thanks.
We have Dr. Favour Oyodele from Nigeria. Dr. Favour, how are you?
My name is Sergey Shuker Show, nickname Peace.
Peace. Dr. Favour in Nigeria.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you clearly.
Fantastic.
You get your camera
Я,
functioning?
может, там не все пойму, что он.
Хорошо, я буду помогать.
Okay. All right.
Что плохо слышно?
То он пытается найти камеру настроить, не получается у него.
Потому что у меня тоже прерывается, а еще по-английски очень плохо слышно, поэтому. Если ко мне будут обращаться, ты там мне скажи.
Хорошо, я маякну.
У тебя нормально, вот, кстати, а с США как-то плохо вообще. Слово через слово. Но я понял, он там поздоровался там.
Frickson, can you mute that conversation so we can move on with the guest, please?
Yes, okay.
Thank you. I'd like to also introduce Ms. Janine St. Louis.
Peace, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being a part of our production. Welcome to the World Media Coalition Jazz Lovers Television. And I want to introduce our technical producer, Brazil. Amar, are you still there?
Hope everybody's doing well.
Just give us a brief where you are in Brazil.
I'm currently in Morro de Sao Paulo, Bahia, which is close to Salvador in the northeast. It's an island. I'm here at the new Guerreiros da Luz Spiritual Center, the Zen Space, aka Agape Morro de Sao Paulo. I'm just trying to get things together to open up the space fleet, start activities on the island.
Actually, a little later on in the production, we will bring in the video from the Bahia island, Morro de Sao Paulo in Brazil, so the guests can see what that project is about. And also we will get a report from the Lugansk People's Republic in Eastern Europe, from Frickson, and perhaps his special guest, Sergey. And welcome, Sergey. Would like to have a few words later on the conflict there and what's happening on his side in Belarus. Dr. Favour, we're going to come back to you. I just want to say again that Dr. Carpenter is not with us today, and I want to begin with the last part of that advertising trailer that said Dr. Favour announced this is the 2021 candidate. Actually, he announced his candidacy for the presidency in 2023. He announced it in 2021. So he is with us today, and he's going to give us his vision for the new Nigeria. And as you heard in the advertising trailer, we addressed specifically the birthing of the new Nigeria. But I'd like to open up with that smiling face of Mr. Janine St. Louis and have her talk about the journey that she's embarked upon with her jewelry and how she got there.
Again, my name is Janine St. Louis. My jewelry is the collection. I started making jewelry in 2002. It started off with beading and then smithing. My jewelry is all about cultural pride. So I love to create themes around African diaspora experiences. I am at the New Black Wall Street, which I would say through the spirit of my husband, who was Hashim Nzinga, national chairman of the Black Panther Party. He had a lot of ties with different people in the community here in the States. And so, and through this brotherhood that he had with parts of that mall, they've made sure that I was all right since he passed away a year and a half ago. And have allowed me to have a store in the mall where I sell my jewelry now. But yeah, that's that.
Well, that's a beautiful story, and I like the part that said you like to create the diaspora and the culture, and that's what is evident in your creation. And so your creations are part of an artistry, and they have a vibration that they emit. And I'd like you to that vibration, if you will.
Say that one more time, the last part.
I'd like you to address the vibration that your jewelry gives off.
So my intent is to awaken the sort of warrior spirit in a lot of my people, kind of that revolutionary heart. And so I love paying homage to revolutionary ancestors and African-American traditions who basically stood up against oppression. And those are the heroes and sheroes I get my inspiration from. And then in that, also just different, I like to create themes and different experiences that we've also been through prior to slavery and after. And so, so that's basically what my jewelry is geared towards, just kind of like storytelling with the educational, historical element to it.
Excellent. Now you mentioned that, and let me say this: may your husband in his ascension walk amongst the ancestors and be well received by the angels. Doing the chair, thank the Most High, a line of the new dawn. And just briefly, I know it's you said it's been recent, so to discuss anything in length may be painful. So I just want to ask you, you mentioned the organization that your husband was.
Yes, New Black Panther Party.
Okay. All right. How long was he a part of that New Black Panther Party?
So, well, I guess I'll back up to how he became a part of it. He became a part of the New Black Panther Party when he brought our beloved Khalid Abdul Muhammad, this warrior right here, introduced him to a brother named Aaron Michaels, who founded the New Black Panther Party, which are the cubs of the original Black Panthers. And so he brought, from Farrakhan, I guess Khalid was looking for like a new home. So he brought him to Aaron Michaels and introduced them. And long story short, Khalid got basically voted in as the chairman of the New Black Panther Party. And because of Hashim's relationship and trust that they had for each other, Khalid made Hashim his national assistant and national chief of staff under Khalid's leadership. And I would have to say that Hashim didn't officially remember because he was fine doing his own thing with his own organization called Mayat. So he really wasn't looking for another home, basically. But he loved Khalid and loved his spirit. And Khalid basically asked him to, you got to join this party. You can't just be a regular person and you're my national chief of staff, basically. That couldn't resist. I mean, Hashim couldn't resist. And of course, he became a member.
Excellent.
So it's probably been, well, I guess that would be the mid-90s. So he was a part of it for quite some time until he passed.
Beautiful. Well, I'd like to what you have just shared with us is, and I hope it's not the video production of you on his legacy, because what you shared with us is a very important part of not the husband's legacy, and may he walk amongst the ancestors and be well received by them, but Khalid Muhammad's as well, and the same be bestowed upon him, walking with the ancestors and well received by the angels. But to be able to have video documentation of people speaking about that time, from your perspective, it adds to not only your husband's legacy, but your legacy as well with the jewelry.
Yes. Again, I love revolutionary ancestors, and my husband was a revolutionary, and he's an ancestor now. So he is a big part of my work, and I do involve him with his photo and name in my Warrior series, along with Khalid and all the other greats. So he'll always be a part of that.
Now, you say your Warrior series. Speak about that.
So that Warrior series, it pays homage to the ancestors, the revolutionary ones, the ones compromising, the ones that were about their culture first, Black first, African first, who stood up when nobody else would, for their people, for fighting against injustice and oppression, and those are the like the Turners and the Denmark Bassies and the Malcolm X and the Marcus Garveys. These are the ancestors that I really look up to, including Patrice Lumumba, Thomas Sankara, Steve Biko, Winnie Mandela, for sure. These sort of really uncompromising, very proud people.
To your jewelry, do you write in any form, prose or poetry, or you just do the jewelry as art?
I just do the jewelry. I do try to create a narrative, a written narrative, when I'm conceptualizing a theme, so that way I can, grab hold of the person's, like I said, spirit, and that's the intent, to pull them in, sort of, to hopefully awaken something, or to want to learn more about these people and be a part and change their success back to where it needs to be and into our culture, to get that interest back towards that. But as far as writing, no, I don't. I stay in my.
Now, I also noticed that you use crystals on some of your jewelry. So you've spoken about the cultural affiliation, the cultural aspect, and now you've included crystals in artwork, and that speaks to a deep part of the culture from a spiritual perspective. And what motivated you to use the crystals?
Well, I use different stones. I've never so deep into like the meanings of all these crystals, like a lot of beautiful, talented jewelers who do the thing. Got more into the metal smithing part. That is deeply rooted in African culture and tradition. And then a metal worker was definitely a highly revered and respected craftsperson. So really, the spiritual cultural connection is with the trade itself, not necessarily the materials that I use. So I would have to say the trade of metal is like my crystals.
Okay,
Yeah.
right on. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, give the people your address and contact information.
Okay. You can find me on Instagram at Janine St. Louis. That's JANENST period space LOUIS. And I'm also on Facebook. I can be a little vocal on Facebook than I am on my Instagram. So if you don't mind that, you can come on over there.
Right on, right on. Lastly, what is the address of the New Black Wall Street? So if folks want to come to your shop, you can give them that location and they come not only experience your shop, but the spectra of New Black Wall Street location as well.
That's a great question. I know I'm in Stonecrest, but I don't have the exact location address, but I know we are on Mall Parkway.
It's the New Black Wall Street, Stonecrest, Georgia, on Mall Parkway, because the building is 1/4 the size of the street itself. So it's a location. You get on Mall Parkway in Stonecrest, you can't miss it. And when you get inside, oh, she got the address?
It's 8109 Mall Parkway, Stonecrest, Georgia, USA.
Right on, right on. Yeah. So that's Miss Jean St. Louis of Stonecrest, Georgia, and St. Louis Creations. And we will be having her back. We may even do a shoot from her location in Stonecrest Mall, New Black Wall Street. Thank you so much. Stick around because some of our people may want to ask you some questions. I short amount of time, but let me know when you got to go if we're taking too long before we get back to you.
I will, because I got my 4-year-old waiting for me to.
You now?
Huh?
He's with you now?
No, he goes back and forth, but he get a little antsy. But I can longer.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
You're speaking to us from Nigeria, Dr. Favour.
Exactly. Yes, thank you so much, Ambassador Makaku, for having me.
You're welcome. It's not a question. It's not a question. It's a duty to be able to hear your vision for Nigeria and birthing the new Nigeria, and healing from our trauma, because Nigeria, and when you talk about healing from our trauma, it doesn't necessarily always be about a person. It could be about a community. It can be about a church or an organization. It can be about a country. It can be about a country. Nigeria is a country that is in need of healing. So I want to give you, Dr. Favour, to speak about where you see you can begin to help heal Nigeria.
Mm.
Did you hear the question?
Yes. Please, can you? I think I lost you just a moment. You said, please,
Go
can
ahead.
you repeat that question? I'm trying to.
Healing is not just people, it can be for communities, it can be for organizations. Healing from trauma is very important. So, from your perspective as a presidential candidate running for the presidency of Nigeria, where do you can be helped to begin the healing for Nigeria?
Well, thank you so much once again, Ambassador. I actually want to reference my sister, Jenny St. Louis. You're such a fantastic human being. Nice listening to you, and your voice sound like someone on top of Big Diamond. Thank you so much for bringing your story in, and I believe it's going to heal. Now, let me come to my wonderful ambassador's question. We have different parts, or let me just say we have levels of healing. And right now, Nigeria is tested for every part or for every level you can think of that healing is applicable. Now, we need emotional healing. We need psychological healing. We need spiritual healing. We need physical healing. We need economic healing. We need the system itself need healing. Homes and every individuals, we need healing right now. The major problem that we are having right now is because we've not found a catalyst for the problem. And that is why someone called the Carpenter, Favour is coming on board to reach out the healing that is meant for us now, and that we also, sustain sustain the capacity of itself to the next generation. So, having said this, you were asking about where exactly do I think that healing is very, very important to teach out, and I've tried to mention some part of areas in which we need healing. However, we can't just bring healing to people without letting them see the reality and the functionality of the medication. If we are to think about the medical line, from the perspective of the medical line, you have to diagnose the patient. The patient must understand that, okay, this is the area in which I need a serious healing, and it's a matter of urgency. I need to do this. When you discover a cancer, let me use, I'm sorry, women in the house listening to me, I just want to use part of the women's body, like their breast. They said the breast, the cancer of the breast, it's always come like a very tiny thing. So falls in such a way that it's just like a stone, very little stone. And the owner of the cancer may not even think of, oh, there is a cancer there, until it is properly diagnosed. So right now, that case is not the case of Nigeria. We all see it's like an injurious cancer that have boomerang every part of Nigeria. Human, economic, education, security, and the rest. We need to have this healing now. The land of Nigeria is crying for healing. I mean, the soil, the atmosphere, and every part that has to do with municipal is looking and crying and agitating and thirsty for healing. Now, when healing is done, automatically, there's going to be a refreshment. There's going to be a restoration. So in this regard, I am bringing out not only healing, but also restoration for our human nature, human perspective, human, ideology, and everything that has to do with us, our fundamental human right, need all this restoration because it has been bastardized. I mean, it has been destroyed. It has been, shooked. It has been, whatever name you can call it, is no more in the system of our interests. So, Ambassador and my listeners, just understand that it is high time we must bring healing to Nigeria and restore Nigeria's dignity. Thank you so much.
Let me address that in a certain kind of a way, because there are different dynamics at play in the country in Nigeria right now. You have, in one part, you have a tremendous society that is thriving economically. Nigeria has, 36 states?
Yes.
Okay. You have parts of the country that are in serious conflict. You have the conflict of the ethnic groups between the Igbo and the Fulani. You got the conflict and the Boko Haram conflict. What's that? The northeastern part of Nigeria?
Actually, the Boko Haram is not only part of the northern part. It's not actually in the eastern part. We have all manner of terrorist groups in Nigeria.
Okay.
The Boko Haram is in the north and is terrorizing the entire country, because I don't just want to believe the sectionality of propaganda, sectionality of politics. Once a terrorist or once terrorism is in place in a certain geographical location, automatically it will affect the entire nation, because my friends, your friend, my friends' friends, families, everywhere, we've mixed up. So it is not only the northern part of the country that this set is terrorizing, but rather is terrorizing the entire country. So what happens to you happens to me. Whatever the problem you are carrying is also is affecting me, and it's affecting the entire nation, because psychologically, like I was saying, that we need healing psychologically, we need healing emotionally, we need healing physically, environmentally, and the rest. So the part that is actually now feeling the effect of terrorist groups in Nigeria is but not limited to the north, but majorly in the north. The northeast and other parts, of course, extended to the eastern part of the country, that is the south. If you are to divide Nigeria into two, we say south and the north. So everything is like, I use the word cancer other time, is spreading so much in the country, and we have to stop it. So insecurity is a major, major, major problem that we must find, as a matter of urgency, a solution to, that you call healing.
Now, I want to bring in something that Sister Janine was talking about into this conversation, because what you just said addresses a deeper problem. And the problem that it addresses is the learning curriculum of people, not just in Nigeria, but throughout the continent. The learning curriculum that people will call education, the schooling. And I've asked this question to many people that I speak with from the continent. When you were in school, learning the way the country's curriculum, the country's system is set up, were you taught anything about the ancient cultures and the ancient traditions and the ancient ethnic groups and the greatness of our people? while you were being taught in school? Most of the people I asked that, they say no. And therein lies a major component to the root of the disaster, the disease. Because what's being played out amongst our people is the disease of self-hatred. And that is due to the fact that the system that our people are being taught does not respect the land that is being taught on. It doesn't respect the culture that is being taught within. It doesn't respect the tradition of the ancestors or the contribution those traditions have contributed to mainstream culture, mainstream societies. So as a presidential candidate, it becomes very important to address what is being taught in the schools and how what is being taught in the churches affects in a negative way the culture in the country, because unless our people are taught who they are in a system of training, not just training to be workers, but reinforcing the identity of a people so that there can be a cohesive, collective, conscious that gets results.
Okay, thank you so much. The perspective or the aspect in which you've drawn your line, it's so ambiguous, and we need to narrow it down to what is actually affecting the continent and make sure that we bring out solution.
Right.
Because if we continue to speak about a problem, we will continue to speak to eternity. And we will not be able to find a cogent aspect of what we need to get right now for the country and for the continent. Now, there is what I call fundamental defects, which you have mentioned. What has been taught or what was taught in the past, in the centuries. This time around, the world is evolving. And if we must talk about education, which is the bedrock of any nation, without education, there's no how we can make use of what we are making use of today, the device and everything. Everything bursts on education. Now, the means of education is what other countries are using that is ahead of other individuals like African countries. That is the language, the culture. Other countries invite their culture and their language into their children. And when they grow up, it is easy for them to create, to maneuver, to reproduce, or to produce, or to manufacture, because they speak the same language. They would extend their culture. But Africa, despite the fact that some of this has affected, I'm talking about the Western ideology. The Western ideology on education has affected African community as a whole. We still have our culture, and that is what defines us. That is what stands us out. That is what pronounce and make us to be a very dynamic, phenomenal continent or human being across the world. Without Africa, I don't think the assistant of the world, the assistant of the Western, can actually have the taste that is having today. So Africa carries the larger percentage of indigenous and interesting integration of values. That is Africa. Now, let me come back to the education proper that we need to, that you are so much passionate about. Nigeria is about 213 million people that is right here in this country. Africa is about 1.3 billion. Let me narrow it down to Nigeria. We have ethnic groups of 520 something ethnic nations in Nigeria, and everybody will speak different languages, different dialect, different things. But I believe that each and every ethnic groups, they have their culture and values and legacy. And this is what actually makes us Africa. So how are we going to teach our children in order to come on the table and finalize an idea that has to do with generality? It's all about value and culture. Each and every ethnic groups in Nigeria have their culture. They have their culture, they have their value, they have their principle, they have their ideology, they have whatever thing that guides them. Their background is extremely different. As a precedent, we have adopted a language, a speaking language, a communicative language to the general society. That is to say, we are using this as a formal mechanism to address some issues. So learning is different from the words that you are hearing from me. But what we must do to make sure that what we are teaching our children is effective is by imbibing our culture into them. And also make sure that indigenously we translate our value into them so that it can last. That is what we call sustainable goals, sustainable formula for the Africa we want. So here it is. Using African content to develop Africa by African for Africa is the ideology I am bringing to the entire Africa country. Number one. Number two, making sure that we use African solution for African problems. Meaning, my administration is thinking global and act local. We are going to think global, that is the perspective, what we are going to have global view. What is happening in the United States, what is happening in Canada, what is happening in China, what is happening in Europe, what is happening there. However, we are going to apply our own resources, our own content, human capital, economic capital, our own self, and use it and develop the country to have a very powerful standard, or with a very, let me just say, with 21st century mechanism, so that it will measure up with the other part of the world. However, this thing will not stop us from having our identity right through our culture, because our identity is imbibed in our culture. Our identity is imbibed in our values. Our identity is imbibed in our, our ideology. What formulated the atmosphere, the economic and the value extension of Africa as a whole. So this is what we must have as human beings. And let me have this before you ask another question. My administration value education so much. What we will be doing that is quite unique, and that is going to be unique till 100 years time, because I'm having 100 years plan. We are going to engage intentionally in our indigenous resources. This will help our educational sector to be well structured with the fundamental value we must carry as human beings. Nigerians is like a bad label. We are carrying a huge bad label. Our appellation is wrong across the globe right now, but we are the best. Nigerians are doing fantastically great because of the uniqueness of who they are. But because leaders has failed us and has made our, identity to be something that the world is not reckoned with anymore. And that must change. That is what I am bringing to the table.
I want to bring in a couple of points that you just made. First, you said you want to bring in an administration that thinks global but acts local.
Exactly.
And then you spoke about 100-year path.
Exactly.
As part of your blueprint, if you will. So
yes,
right. So now, looking at that blueprint with those two cornerstones, thinking global, acting local, 100-year vision for the blueprint. If you have a mind to, I'd like you to expand that 100 years to 1,000 years. Number one. And looking at it from what you outlined, to be able to harness the instructional component of the society. People call it education. I don't like to say education because the education that's been taught to us has been propaganda. So that's why I say the instructional component, the teaching component, what they learn in the the school. And you said that it must include the culture of the people. Am I correct?
Yes, you're right.
Okay.
We have to go back to history.
Right. So now, and you also said you want to develop a platform that African problems are solved with African solutions.
Exactly.
Okay. So now what we're talking about is something called mindset development and leadership imposition of the thought process. See, what happens is our people have been, and leadership is a fallacy. I'm going to say that. Leadership is a fallacy. And why is it a fallacy? Because it teaches that the masses must have somebody to lead them. And that's not true. The instructional component of society is responsible for instructing people in what they need to do. So if people know what to do, they don't need no leader. They just do what they know is supposed to be done.
Okay, if I may come in here, your ambassador, this perspective, like you rightly mentioned, that the mindset of Africans must change towards ourselves and towards what is happening. Now, leadership in itself is not bad. The only thing we need to understand is that who are you? That is why I am bringing the perspective of, and my administration is loaded with conceptualized, value-driven ideas.
Okay, stop there. Stop there for a moment. Frickson, can you send me a new link? One of our guests is having trouble getting on. So send me a new link so I can send it to her and see if she can get in. Secondly, I want to go back to this conversation, but I want to expand the participants because you have Sister Janine listening, you have Frickson listening, you have Sergey listening, and see, between myself and Frickson and Sergey, we mentioned in the beginning the Universal Zulu Nation of hip hop. And that's a component I want to just drop into the conversation a little later on for consideration. Because the next generation of youth worldwide is affected by the rap music hip hop industry. The rap music hip hop industry. And the reason why I mentioned Fiction and Sergey and myself in that capacity is because we're aligned with the Universal Zulu Nation of hip hop. And when you look at culture, you look at instruction, you look at positive vibration, one of the things that you may want to consider is tapping into, and even in Nigeria, you got cats running around robbing people, but they're listening to rap music. So to be able to capture an audience and focus their attention on positive mental development based upon some of the things that you're talking about could be a tremendous asset to you. And I'm going to take that link. And Miss St. Louis, are you still available? Okay, so Ahmad, are you there?
Yeah, yes, I'm still. I got cut off for a second, but I got back on.
Okay, please delve into the conversation while I send this link and contact the other guests. They've been trying to get in and they haven't been able to get in.
Okay. Greetings, Your Excellency, Dr. Favour. I believe we've had a conversation before. We met on another show that we did. I think it was I Found My Voice. First of all, I hope you win. Second of all, what countries on the continent of Akibalan will Nigeria be working directly with? I know there's some imaginary lines that have been drawn in the sand between different countries and their influences, because of their European influences. How do you plan to address that? Because a unified front in Africa is definitely needed. But as long as we have European nations that, mandate and control the natural resources, what goes on in the countries in Africa, we'll never actually be able to have that unity. How will you address that?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm speaking, if you are hearing me.
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I was talking about before Ambassador Makakufu, keeping some certain things. My administration, first of all, we are going to unite entire African countries together. It is very, very, very paramount on my table. Very, very. It is extremely. It's my number one job. Between 50 days of my office, I'm going to call the president of African countries together, and we're going to talk heart to heart, brother to brother. Because the world, or the future of the world, is in Africa. And the future of Africa is in Nigeria. So from that perspective, that will tell you the level at which that I want to go with my administration by making sure we use our resources to develop the continent of Africa. Now, I said using African content to develop Africa by Africa for Africa. It's a well-packaged content that has its own definition, so that we will be able, as much as possible, we give ourselves a very wider view of how we can quickly salvage the continent of Africa. Enough is enough of zombieism. You know what I mean by that? Enough is enough of depending on the Westerns without positive impact. And what I mean by positive impact, something that has nothing to do with our demography in a very awesome way. The demographical part of Africa, it has a very strong impact to the entire world. And that is why some Western world are afraid of Africa. But the only thing why it seems as if we are not being afraid of is because of the set of leaders that are already in place. I will say this. We are called independent nations. Nigeria got its independence 62 years ago, almost 62 years ago. By October, we'll be 62. And the rest of African countries, some are 50, some are 60, some are, 45. So we are like this. It is called independence. So what does independence mean? What does it mean? It means that you are no more relying on somebody else that you have been relying on. There's a certain and there's a state for you to cut yourself away totally in such a way that you will be able to think inward. And that is why I use the word think global, act local.
Right.
So you'll be able to think inward. When you think global, then you'll be able to come to yourself, to your people. What is it that we have or we don't have that we can fathom? As a matter of fact, and don't forget, the future of the world is in Africa, or is Africa. So my administration will make sure that we think very indigenously. We think so much to the extent that our people will be engaged. The intellectual property of African country men will be engaged. The resources we have: gold, we have diamond, we have all manner of things. We have bitumen, we have coal, we have oil and gas, we have a lot of things. We have cocoa. They found the agricultural sector in Africa so overwhelming. Nigeria carried the first. But what are we doing with it? Nothing. The percentage of Nigerian resources that have been tapped so far is not up to 10%. Now look at the 90%. So it means when Africa or when Nigeria has the leader that think beyond or outside the box, he will be able to fathom what it is necessary, what is very immediate, and what should be sustained for the future. And that is why I was saying that I am having 100 years plan for Nigeria and Africa. It is not a political statement. It is an intentional statement. What I want to do for my continent, what I want to do for this country called Nigeria. We have everything, we have what it takes, but why are we still living in penury? Where are we so poor despite of these numerous resources that we are having with us? We are talking about the brilliancy of individuals. Nigerians are there. Entertainment industry, they are the best. When it talks about sport, when it talks about the women, the youth, we are talking about the technology, innovation, industry, things that needs to be done in Nigeria are so much embedded in us, but it has not yet been enhanced. So I want to enhance this. I want to make sure that we have all these things in place. So that is the way we can get ourselves away from lone syndrome. That is the way we can get ourselves from any form of dependency on other countries. And that is, we can do this simply because if we reason toward humanity, and I am bringing citizen first leadership model, and I was trying to talk about the leadership aspect that Ambassador Makakufu was talking earlier, the situational aspect of leadership. That is why I believe in leadership and partnership over leadership and followership. Can you see that difference? What is making the leadership or democracy or whatever so wobble, so uninteresting, so bad, so downgrading, and so dungy is because there is no sense of there's no common sense value in us. The so-called leaders, they are not leaders, they are rulers. Leadership is embedded in each and every one of us. That is why I believe in leadership and partnership. We have to partner together. We have to collaborate. And I call it collaboration of vision, because God has deposited one gift or the other in us. We are to complement ourselves, each other. We are to embrace our differences. We are to accommodate our differences. We are to bring out what will make us totally different and unique and stand out because everything is in us. But because of mentality that has been developed so far through education, through uncomely education, because we have different type of education. And I'm bringing indigenous education now. I'm bringing cultural education. I'm bringing local education. I'm bringing value education. I'm bringing, systematic education that will help us to enhance our resources in all levels. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
Thank you.
I'd like to bring in Zulu King Frickson from Lugansk People's Republic. Frickson, and Ambassador, and Your Excellency, Dr. Favour, I'd like you to stick around for a little while longer because I want to bring in Frickson so you can hear from someone who is living in the conflict zone exactly what's going on. Frickson, take a few moments to bring in your report, and then let's bring in Sergey and open up the discussion and talk about Nigeria, talk about Lugansk People's Republic, talk about leadership, talking about healing, and talking about how it's going to be laying the foundation for these types of things, coming up with these types of conversations that will allow it to take place. And I hope Dean St. Louis is still on as well. I sent the link to the other guest, and I hope she can get on too. So, Frickson, go ahead and open up your mic and give us a report.
Okay, thank you. We here in Lugansk People's Republic exactly have the similar situation like now I was talking our guests, respecting guests. I want to say one important point that we also have problems with education because many years, before Ukraine was built, it was the Soviet Union, and in Soviet Union we have different people from different nationalities, from different tribes, and we all living in the peace and have no problems. We have one educational system. And there, when Soviet Union was fought and break, the education have new system, and people like George Soros start bringing some Western educational funds and start print the books that was mostly the propaganda. Not these books was not about our history of our ancestors, not about our people. It was the books that have the mostly propaganda and divide our people. So in Ukraine, many years in this educational system, in these books, was the propaganda of the hating the Russian people. And we on the east side of Ukraine, where I was living before 2014, we feel this hating in this educational system because we start see how the Russian culture, Russian language was under pressure of the political system, and the politics start make the pressure to the Russian-speak people, and about this start some strikes and meetings in our area. The Russian people start make some strikes against the Ukrainian government. The people start trying to speak free. Our people organize some rebels who don't wanna living in blockade of the Russian culture, because Russian culture have all own identity, and many years Ukrainian politics try and make clean out all Russian from the heads of people, from the minds of people. Many years they built so-called educational and political system where they show the Russian people like the enemy of Ukrainian people. But we are not enemies of Ukrainian people. I have many relatives, the brothers and the sisters, the grandmothers of my friends that living in Ukraine, and we was the family before this political starts. But Ukrainian government start to take our people, their Ukrainian secret services make our Russian people the prisoners, political prisoners, and we have the pressure and the blockade of this, and that's why the conflict is start. And today the Russia help us get our sovereignty of the and help back us our identity of our native people from our land, because we not going to Ukraine. The conflict is start in 2014. Everybody today speaks that Russia invades in the Ukraine, but conflict start early, 8 years ago, in 2014. And in 2014, the Ukrainian government going with war to our land in Donbass area, where in east side of Ukraine on that time. And we are stand on our land. We not came in Kiev or other countries or Lvov. We not came to the west part of Ukraine. We was living on our land. We stand on our land, where the land of our ancestors, where our people living from back in the days, and it was mostly the Russian state of mind people. So we don't wanna have the war. We just trying to build a dialogue and said that we wanna living in a free country with free mind, but Ukrainian government don't wanna build the free country. They like I said, they start make the pressure of the people, and many people was in the prisoners, political prisoners, in this so-called political TV shows of Ukraine. Was much propaganda, where they also have scandals, and they also try and show the Russian people like some people with little educational level, or we are so-called animals, not people that have own culture, own traditions, own music. And like you said, the Western media, like in Nigeria, they try and put so-called civilization, European traditions. So in our part of land, same story. They trying to put in our heads, in our state of mind, the European traditions, but we're not Europeans. We are living mostly in the part of Eurasia, Europe and Asia. We are living in Europe and Asia. The Russian Federation and our part of Donbass and Ukraine also, it is not Europe, it is Eurasia, Europe and Asia. We have Asia people, Europe people mix, and all these people mixing, but so-called, like in USA, white supremacy, try and make a genocide of Indian people back in the days, the Native Americans, and try and slaves the African people. So this world, new world order and white supremacy today try and make the same genocide of Russian Slavic people. By the way, Ukrainian and Russian, it's from one family tree. It is Slavic people that never have the conflict, and Western rich guys try and using big money and try and using the private military Nazi groups that divide our people. They not Ukrainian people. They show always in media that they fighting for Ukrainian independence, but they not fighting for Ukrainian independence. Ukrainian people not enemies of Russian people. We are one family from one tree. We have our own ancestors, and this Western media propaganda try and divide our people and try and make the conflict. And we today killing our people, Russian people killing Ukrainian people killing Russian people, about this politics that today built the so-called Ukrainian government. You know, even the president of Ukraine today, it's Vladimir Zelensky. He is not a political. Back in the days, if you see the history of this man, he is a comic. He is a comedy artist. He have no skills in politics. He have no skills in education. He have no skills in political job. He is a good comic. Back in the days, we also watch him in the comedy clubs, TV shows, but we never see him before in serious political deeds. So this man was just the player. He plays a role of the Western media propaganda of same white supremacy, this so-called new world order that try and divide our people, like I said. And it is very hard today because you know, many people today that back to our territory and free from Ukrainian, these Nazi military groups, from Kiev regime. Our people today, you know, meet our Lugansk People's Republic soldiers and the Russian army with joy. They said thanks to the soldiers because they tired living in the Kiev Ukrainian regime where they have blockade. You know, they make even the movies. We understand. I understand Ukrainian language. I can speak in Ukrainian language, and it was for me. I don't understand why they show on the TV the Russian movies with Ukrainian subtitles. I don't need Ukrainian subtitles on Russian movies because I understand Russian language. And when they show the Ukrainian movies, they start make Russian subtitles. It's I don't understand why they make so. It's only the propaganda that try and make the dividing of our people and most people just scary in Ukraine, scary because these military groups can enter to your door and break your door. They can take you to the some military camp where they make torture of you. They using bad killings, and we have many examples when they make tortures of our people. And today we have the facts, the people who today free from Kiev Ukrainian regime, they join with lost families, because some people live in Ukraine and some people live in Lugansk People's Republic. But today Lugansk People's Republic free the lands of Donbass where Russian peoples living, and the family unites. And it's good that family unites and can today speak with each other without the scary. Of course, we have hard situation, still hard situation, because still we have the war. We still have the hard-gun shots. You know, today I was going to the job in the morning, and our bus was under fire of the hard gunnery, and in the center of the city was many hard gunnery shots of Ukrainian army, and the people is scary, and we have the new victims, and the victims also have in Ukrainian side, because this politics from Ukraine today not want to build dialogue. They continue trying to have war with Russia. Like you know, everybody today said about the president of Russia, about the Putin. They said that he is bad guy, but why nobody said about the Ukrainian politics, like Petr Poroshenko, and other so-called Ukrainian leaders that came from United States Scientology universities, that have education in the Western educational system, and they even not Ukrainian people. They have the state of mind of so-called European, so-called civilized people, but they only have interest in not for the people. They have interests for the money, for build, and these people today even out from the country, out from Ukraine. When people of Ukraine today have the problems with war, so that people, rich people, politics from Ukraine that start this war, they out from the Ukraine and living somewhere in Europe, maybe in Great Britain, maybe in Spain, maybe in
tremendous amount of finance struggle there. So I want to thank Fiction for giving us that report. And there are a lot of other things that have been shared, other productions. I want to welcome back Janine, and I want to open Sergey.
Me?
Hello?
Yes. So, Ms. Lewis, do you have any thoughts you want to share? I know we push for time.
Well, I appreciate the gentleman that just spoke on his report, because I just want you to know that there's a lot of people here in America that know the propaganda machine, the American propaganda machine. We're very familiar with Mr. Soros and how he uses his money in a lot of even our movements, like the Black Lives Matter movement, for instance, and dominates and and sort of controls the narrative, putting his wherever he puts money. So we definitely see that, and definitely there's those of us who see the propaganda being put out with Ukraine and Russia. So that we're not really, particularly people, I would say, in who have a very revolutionary spirit, I would say, and respect culture. We pay attention to these. We sort of study these. We're almost like students of these things. It's almost like you have to know what's going on, understand what these political sort of battles are stemming from behind the surface. So I can definitely see how Ukraine, that president there is definitely a puppet, and just being used for other reasons that are not being played out in mainstream media. So I respect you for definitely sharing that, and you to know that there's definitely a lot of us here in the see that. I did have something I want to address to the or ask to the candidate for presidency, and
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Yes, how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic, just as you are.
Beautiful. You had mentioned how identity and how important it is to have identity, and I couldn't agree with you more. But in having that also, are you going to make it part of your agenda to see that Nigeria also has economic and political leadership in the political world platform without Western influence?
Yeah, that's very strategic. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Two things controls a nation. Two things. Number one, the political influence, and number two, the economic influence. The political influence, what ties around it, it's security and ability to also extend the fundamental human right, and also dealing with foreign powers. This is very, very important. And right now, the legacy of Buhari, the present administration, led by Muhammadu Buhari, it has dented and destroyed the identity of Nigerians across the globe. And we have to correct that error. And of course, through that political influence, our economic capital has gone down the drain. And it is so shameful that a country like Nigeria is experiencing this kind of thing when we're supposed to be happy. We're supposed to be the most happiest human being or the most happiest nation, let me put it like that, on the surface of the earth. Let me start from the perspective, from the angle that Matakafufu were talking about, the healing. When we are healed, that is when we can be able to think of somebody else. When we are healed, that is where we'll be able to think, oh, what and what that is needed. But what is most important is that we need to get ourselves on our feet back first. So that is why I was trying to talk about our identity. We need to redeem the identity of Nigerians. It has gone so bad. They call us the most corrupt nation. They call us the capital base of, the capital poverty of the world. Different names. We can walk freely. We can move in United States of America. Nigerians carry this pride in them that wherever we are, we dominate. It is in our nature. But what is the view of other countries as having towards Nigerians? So let me put it aside. The political influence, the political power of Nigeria has to be with someone that is patriotic. patriotism is number one if we must get it back. And that is what Favour is all about. So, from that aspect as well, we must understand that one of the major interests of other nations in Nigeria is the fact of the market value that is in us through our number. And that has to go with the economic capital, the economic influence that you are talking about. These two is very important. Our currency is getting so much, I don't know how to call it anymore. The devaluation of
Hello?
Yes.
I think he's back.
His link dropped?
No, I see he's in the room.
His audio faded.
the gap is getting there. So we must see the technological sector, the information. Yes, we have to do this, and we must come.
I see something with internet connection.
To that things we have.
Maybe his battery is getting low. Can you hear us, Dr. Favour? Can you hear us, Dr. Favour?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, because your audio faded out when you were speaking.
Oh, so sorry about that. So sorry. So if you can hear me now, then I'll be very grateful. Madam St. Louis, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, fantastic. Sorry about that. There was a call because you are the one that asked that question.
Yes.
So I must make sure that I answer you to your own satisfaction.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. So we need to create this and make sure we have the Nigeria we want. It is of twofold, like I said, economic and the political aspect of Nigeria. And I was talking about patriotism. Then the political will of the leader is very, very important. What is that aspect am I bringing on the table? You must be engaged. You must have this sense of belonging, sense of ownership in Nigeria. So I'm going to transfer my own political will into everyone. And that is why I call it citizen first leadership model. That is what my administration is coming up with. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Yes, you did.
Thank you.
I just want you to know that during my husband's 4-year battle with cancer, it was all Nigerian doctors and nurses who worked on him. And it was some of the most brilliant, beautiful people that I've ever met.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about this. I'm so sorry to hear about this.
Oh, yeah. But yes, Nigerians, all the ones that I've met are very prideful, strong, beautiful people, for sure.
Thank you.
Doctor, what was that last slogan you just gave? Citizens first, what?
Citizen first leadership model.
Okay. Can I add to that?
Yeah, please.
Dr. Favour Ayodele, the right choice for citizens first leadership model?
Correct. Fantastic. And see, I want to bring St. Louis to my campaign strategy. Do you know why? Because this great man, Makakufu, we've been in contact for some months now, almost a year. And I love the value that he's bringing to the African community. I listened to you when you were talking. One of the basic things, and I love the fact that he came from the medical aspect of line when he was talking about healing. The medical sector of Nigeria, the health sector of Nigeria is down, is completely down. Every politician, especially Mr. President, if he's coughing, he will go to United Kingdom and treat himself. If his eyes is paining him, he will go to United Kingdom. If he's struck his toe against stones, he will go to United Kingdom. If he's feeling cold, he will go to United Kingdom. From my own end, when I become president, there will not be anything like that till I end my tenure. We must be intentional. And why am I saying I want you to be part of what I'm doing is because of the death of your husband and because of Nigerians that worked on him, and one way or the other, it passed on.
Yeah.
By the special grace of God, I am building a world-class hospital, special hospital for cancer patients in Nigeria when I become president. And also for the women, you know, for women that has to go through operation. I mean, pregnancy, delivery stuff. This is very, very key in my administration. We must save everyone that has experienced or that has elements of cancer. But do you know what? Our food is very important to me. The organic food is no more in existence anymore. It has been a synthetic thing. So, my dear friend, I want you to join me with Makakufu and everyone listening to me. Let's build the Africa we want. Let's build Nigeria we want. Support me. Talk it to your friends. Network. Let us have this once and for all. The future of the world is Africa. The future of Africa is Nigeria. And the future of Nigeria is Favour Ayodele, speaking to you, the 16th President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 2023. I will be glad if you say yes to me. I will be glad if your friends and your family say yes to me. I am calling on African descent across the globe. Research about me. I don't have any corruption in my calendar, in my dictionary. Research about me. We need a leader with integrity and capacity and competence. We need a leader with vision. We need a leader with ideology. We need a leader that will transform, or that will serve Nigeria and transform Nigeria, and that will be able to sustain that transformation to the next generation and to the next generation and to the next generation. My vision in this leadership that I have, that God has come into, is to be the most excellent president in the world. I mean, the most excellent president, meaning every life, if you are an African descent, you will be touched. Every life must be touched. And let me finish with this to quench the thirst of Ambassador Makakufu. The first thing we have to do is to bring Orientation Intelligence Agency to Nigeria and to Africa. It's going to be the biggest agency in Africa. Orientation Intelligence Agency. That is where we are going to reorient ourselves. Bring our mind back. Tell ourselves the truth. Give us the history of Africa. Give us the riches, the riches in the African history, the blessing, the awesomeness, the powerful package that God created us with. Oh, come on. It is time for the new Africa. It is time for new Nigeria. It is time for the Nigeria we want. Through you and everyone listening to me tonight, I want to say thank you and God bless you. God bless Africa and may God favor Nigeria. Amen.
Well, Dr. Favour Ayodele, the right choice for Nigeria, the right choice for people. And give us that slogan again, brother.
First, citizen first leadership model.
The right choice for the citizens first leadership model for Nigeria. His Excellency, the Honorable Dr. Favour Ayodele, running for the presidency of Nigeria. I want to thank you. I want to thank Janine St. Louis for coming on. I want to thank our technical producer, Frickson. And Frickson is Sergey still on? Sergey?
No, he is out, but we have Sidhant in area.
Oh, Sidhant is on?
Yeah, long time he not was with us.
Hello, everyone.
Inside Russia as well. Sidhant, you've been hiding out, man. Where you been hiding out? In my house, someplace else?
No, I'm in Ufa. Yeah, it has indeed been a long time since I last connected here. I'm glad to hearing everyone. Yeah, it was interesting to hear Dr. Favour Carpenter's speech. Yeah, I joined quite late, but yeah, I still have some questions, as I understand that Dr. Carpenter is president candidate for Nigeria, and you have been talking about the hospitals and medicine. Those are, of course, very critical issues in Nigeria, as far as I know. And my question as an outsider to Nigeria is, what are going to be your economic plans? Because Nigeria is, well, we have to admit that, like in any country, there are some law and order issues, and that stops development of economy, entrepreneurship, and, like, in general, the judicial system. And if the businesses don't have enough confidence in the system, the government system, like, money will not grow, and people will not subsequently benefit. And money will not be generated to build more hospitals and solve the welfare issues, and etc. That's my kind of first question. And second question is, yeah, you have spoken about organic food. Well, yeah, it sounds all good, and until recently, like me personally, I would have supported these notions, but we have a clear-cut case study of Sri Lanka, where they are now in default, like the country is crumbling, and one of the things that which led Sri Lanka to that state is adopting laws for organic farming. And well, I will not criticize your decision. You know your country better, but just as an outsider, I will ask: have you been paying attention to the organic farming experiences like throughout the world, so that you can implement them in your country much more efficiently? Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for your support right there. And yeah, if we check the world right now, the rate of sickness and the rate of destructive realities, you just discover that it's not giving us what we really want. I will say this. I wouldn't know what others are using when it comes to organic implementation or integration. But from the perspective, from the research work that I have so far, it's healthy, and it's basically our indigenous resources that is going to be applied. However, that does not mean by technology it will not be driven, because we are going to use artificial intelligence to drive our agricultural revolution. Now, I have you asked me that what am I going to use? Is somebody hearing me, please?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So you are asking about my economic formula, as in what am I going to use to make sure that we have stable economy in the country. I first of all mentioned think global, act local. In that case, we are harnessing the resources of Nigeria. And I have 5 modules of interesting agenda that will help us. Number 1, agricultural revolution. Number 2, resources, in which we have. Number 3, investment. You see? Then the rest has to do with other sectors like security and education. When you look at resources and investment, the two goes together. And when you look at agriculture as well, agricultural produce is part of resources. So it's a loaded, interwoven formula. Alone, our agricultural produce is enough for us to feed Africa, if not the entire world. In this sense, we are harnessing everything and we are making use of innovative influence on our agricultural produce. Most of our produce in Nigeria are in the wasteful mode. We don't have management or management mechanism that's going to, put all these things in shape, proper shape. And the other thing is that I am opening Nigeria for global economy, for global business. In this sense, when we are harnessing our resources, we will be asking the foreign land or the foreign investors or the individuals to come in and invest in this agricultural produce and everything that has to do with the economic restoration of Nigeria. So, another thing is that we are going to close our border at the same time open our border. This is what it means for the nation to come out of any kind of decadence when it has to do with economy. Opening our border in the sense that we are giving people to trade, because when there is no exportation in the country, automatically there is no how you can gain the value of other foreign policies. Another one is this. We are creating a system that will sustain our agricultural or resources that we have. When I talked about agriculture, because it's the largest sector in Africa, if not in the world, then we will be able to look into other resources. The other thing is tourism. Nigeria has everything to accommodate people. We have geographical location that can entice people. And this area, we are going to create a lot of resort around it. We are going to modify all things that has to do with our resources in Nigeria. By so doing, you are attracting the people all over the world, just like Dubai is attracting. And number 5 now is to make sure we become industrialized nation. We are not producing anything as it is now. And we have steel. We have oil and steel. We have everything that we can transform. We have our animals. We have livestock. Let me put it like that. We have livestock, enough of it here that we can also use to create other things. We have, bitumen. We have all manner of materials, raw materials we are going to use to create what Nigeria really needs to come out of this mess. So this is what we have for now that will give us what we really want in a very short period of time. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Hey, thank you for your answer. I'm sure that our listeners needed it more than I did. That's why I asked these questions. Thank you.
You're welcome. But I hope that the answer resonates with you. Not just that I answered the question. I hope it resonates with you.
Well, yeah, there are moments where I partially agree and partially disagree, but we are all humans with our own opinions, and you have more information than I do. So that's why I wish you all the best with your campaign and all the prosperity to your country. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I want to thank everyone for being a part of the World Media Coalition Jazz Lovers Television production today of Healing from Our Trauma, the Strength of a Woman. And I want to give the much needed energy and motivation and success pattern that can be generated so this effort can get Dr. Favour elected as the next president of Nigeria, so that the healing of Nigeria and the healing of the country, the healing of the culture, so that Nigeria can come about as the gem that it is meant to be for the world to see. I want to thank you. Friction, you want to take us out with the flyer and the logo flyer and the music?
Yeah, and before we going out, I wanna ask Janine, St. Louis. Maybe she know this man, the great man from Universal Zulu Nation. He is also the part of the Black Panther, the veteran of Black Panther Party in New York, the Bronx. The great leader of Universal Zulu Nation and Black Panther Party. Maybe you know him, Brother Shep.
I've not met him. I do have some issues though with the Zulu Nation, not Zulu Nation, but the founder on his with some of the things, his activities that have come to surface a couple years ago.
The Africa Bambaataa?
Yes.
You want to bring that?
Huh?
Friction, you want to bring that picture
up? What picture?
The picture of Bambaataa getting his Ankh Award with me and Carpenter.
Oh, I can't find it quick. If you send me.
All right, let me see if I can. Let me find out where it's at.
Yeah, this story is also the part of propaganda. Yeah, maybe it's have some points of truth, but it was make in social network make the demonize all organization, not only one man, but the whole organization, the whole Zulu Nation. And Zulu Nation, it's not one man. It's have many leaders, many great people like this one you see on the screen, the veteran of Black Panther Party, Brother Shep. He never did bad things, and we can't speak about all nation, only about one man, and this propaganda destroy the image of Universal Zulu Nation, mostly that the image of one man. If we see back to the history, we can search even in FBI files and CIA files. There are many great leaders of Black history, like Marcus Garvey, who was also shown in media like the criminal of some economic deeds, and also the the people like the Malcolm X and also the people like Noble Drew Ali and all great black leaders. If we see in history, they always have the problems with the laws and propaganda of the media. And, when I don't know what year it was, but when the Africa Bambaataa meet the Louis Farrakhan in the streets of New York, it was 2013, if I'm not mistaken. So that was a meeting not only about two men. It was the meeting of two serious black organizations that have the great leaders around the world. And I'm speaking not only about the Universal Zulu Nation, but also about the Nation Islam that have representatives today, even in Serbia. I have connections in contacts of some of these people. We have meetings in Zoom, also speak with Serbia people and many other places where they live in geography, and also Universal Zulu Nation. We have named the Universal because have people around the world, even in countries that some people never heard about it. So this propaganda that was about Universal Zulu Nation, you see even in YouTube, you can see the so-called YouTube channel, the first gay family of hip-hop, and this channel is mostly the propaganda, how they can talk about me or other people that never was in New York, never was in USA, the people that represent other side of planet, how you can speak about me if you never meet me, and how you can speak the bad about organization that represent the people from other side of the planet. You can't do it. You can speak about one man and his wrong deeds. If you think he make wrong deeds, speak with him, judge with him, make him bring him to the law, or make the deals in private with him, but never speak about the whole nation that represent the great leaders from different countries that have the leaders that have make great deeds in Brazil, where the people feed the people, feed the poor people, in the Russia, where we have the great break dancers, the b-boys world champions that teach the kids, that educate the kids, where we have the people from China that make social programs, and we have many great leaders that make social programs and cultural projects. We not only the musical projects, and like I said, this guy that you see on the screen, the great veteran brother Shep that help the political prisoners in USA, the many black people who was the slaves of the system of white supremacy, who was escaped from USA, was have help of this brother, and how this YouTube channel's propaganda can said about the Universal Zulu Nation bad when people like this man make about 40 or 50 years good job. This is not right. You must have the deal with person who you have the conflict, but you not doing right if you want to make the war and you want to make the bad image. And like I understand, in media, I'm also working in media. I'm media expert. I'm a journalist, and I know working the propaganda, and we study it in university. And I know if media want to destroy people, the good method that using media to destroy man, it's make the image of his make him like a criminal, like the make image of demon in on or some sexual level or other doings. It's always working in the Western media. It is not only one example, and I'm not now talking about Africa Bambata. I'm talking about many people. If you go back to the story, the New Arubians people, the Dr. Malashi, the Turk, have also the problems with Western law, USA law. They also comment him like a sexual criminal. And if you go back to the story, you have also many examples. Elijah Muhammad or Dr. Noble Drew Ali or other, everyone in the black history who living in USA and make the decisions. Every one of these people you can search and see today on the site of FBI or CIA files, and all these people showing like the criminals. But it's not right. It's only the media propaganda and the white supremacy, the government of United Snakes of America, KKK, just scary black leaders. And when the scary black leaders, they try and find something bad about these leaders and destroy. Same was also with Black Panthers. If people today not search deeply, some of our people in Russia thinking that Black Panthers it's only some radical people, political people, and they have nothing too serious. But it's think like that only the people who not the search of deep the history, and some people think that the Black Panthers have the problems with law, with drugs, and many people can speak much about different organizations, but if people have the leaders, these leaders educate the next generations, and next generations send the message of their leaders to next generation, and this is what the scary the systems and governments and white supremacy also, and so-called New World Order, they wanna see us ignorant people, and they wanna divide us from each other.
Get that picture I sent you?
I'm sorry?
I sent it to you, Janine, in your phone, but I want to bring it up so it can be production as well.
One moment, I download it.
Yep, I saw it. Well, what I want to say is I don't know anything about anybody going after the Zulu Nation itself, the organization, except one man. My thing is, my background really is working in human services, working with women with addiction and trauma, homeless families. That's my background. And when you have people who grew up in the neighborhood he grew up in coming forward, you can't ignore that. I know we don't like to think that somebody that's well known can do something insane. I'm not an investigator, so I don't know, but I tend to go towards people who say they're victims. And so many, not just 1, 2, 3, but when the large community, his community, comes forward and has either witnessed it, heard about it, and or have actually experienced it, and you have to look at that. And unfortunately, molesters and pedophiles are the most protected people because we know them. We don't like to tell on them. And so, until I see anything different that I'm talking about him, not the whole organization, that changes that narrative or shows innocence, then I make my decision there. But so far, there hasn't been anything. Just
Well,
people that stand up for him.
I'm glad you said that, and
Yeah.
speak on with the picture there. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because I'm not a member of the Zulu Nation, but I am the official high Zulu Nation. And reduce that picture a moment so you can see the in that picture beside my friction. Reduce it a little bit. There are 3 people in that picture. And that picture is a specific event that was held in Harlem, in New York, with a number of other people at that event. That was at Mfundi's temple in New York. A committee. The brother is the who was the Prophetic high priest. He's ascended, and may he walk amongst the ancestors along with those others who have been defeated. Africa Bambaataa was awarded that Ankh long before any of the accusations had surfaced. When the position of the high for the Zulu Nation was introduced, Kafra had been brought with me to a number of events at the National Black Theater in Harlem. Events with the Zulu Nation, meeting of the minds, and with the Moors. And he came in with me because we were doing music drumming together. I am the high priest of the Zulu Nation who opened up the meeting of the minds, and we heard Vixen say that the other elements, rap, the DJ, break dance, graffiti, aren't the most important part of rap. The most important part is the 5th element, which is knowledge. So I was the official person to open up the meeting of the minds because of my drumming. I also did drumming for the Moors. So when that situation broke with Bambaataa, it wasn't ignored in the Zulu Nation. There was a meeting that was held in several meetings, but the first meeting, the major meeting, was at the National Black Theater. The other picture with Brother Shep, he was there. I was the one that had opened up the meeting and brought the meeting to order. And it was discussed. And it was discussed in detail. Accusations were discussed. There were people there that substantiated the accusations. So your sentiment is very well taken. It wasn't ignored. It was acted upon. But also, importantly, like Frick was saying, the individual did allegedly what he was accused of. The organization, the Universal Zulu Nations, much like, if you be honest with you, when the pedophilia broke in the Catholic Church, those individuals who was responsible for it were held accountable by law enforcement in many cases, and in litigation, civil litigation as well. It didn't stop the functioning of the Catholic Church. And this is the point. As the high priest, you could say I'm like the Black Pope as far as the Zulu Nation is concerned. But the reality is, like Frickson was saying, there are a lot of people throughout the world doing a lot of good work based upon the humanitarian element of knowledge in the Zulu Nation. That's why I said when we were talking with Dr. Favour, worldwide, young people embrace the hip-hop industry. what's going to be happening with us, and I've also spoke with my technical directors and some other people about it, is to be able to do, not from the Zulu Nation, but to be able to do, because we are with the Zulu Nation and we can claim to be producers of the event, the 5 elements of hip hop awards event, to be able to bring the negative impact from the industry on the hip hop industry and music out, and to be able to bring a positive, based upon knowledge, impact back to what the original Zulu Nation was meant to be. So this discussion is very important, in line that you bring with your husband, have been involved with Mr. Khalid Muhammad, the new Black Panther Party, work that you guys have done. So it's a great honor to have with us today. It's a great honor to have Dr. Favour today. Unfortunately, the other guest wasn't able to come on, but I'm going to be with you because there's some things I want to share with you that came to me today that may be able to involve on some of the levels that you were involved with before, because you have a passion. That passion is not going away. Fix it. You want to bring up
You're breaking up a little bit.
I was just complimenting you with your passion, and I want to talk to you. I'll be glad to see you.
Okay.
You want to take us out?
You know, and you also have right to ask the questions to the people of Universal Zulu Nation in the New York. But what questions people can ask about the situation from people from other side of planet? Some people from other side. Universal Zulu Nation is universal. It is so big that some people even don't know each other in private, but they make a good job on other side of planet. And some people from other side of planet even don't know what is going on in New York. They don't care about this. They live in own life and make their own deeds. They don't see the Facebook, don't see the Instagram. we even have no Instagram and even have no Facebook now because we are blocked from this social network. And our nation is so universal and have a lot of people who even don't know about this situation, and they not ignore it. They even don't know about it because they building in own community in their part of the country, in their regions. And Universal Zulu Nation moved from New York and moved from USA many years ago in the 80s, and today Universal Zulu Nation is working. People represents the different side of planets where some people from New York never was. And
so take us out, Fixin'.
Amen.